Cora's POV. Walking into home after another crap appointment with the doctor, I head upstairs to get changed. Just as I reach the top of the stairs, I hear a groan. Stopping, I listen carefully to my surroundings. Layla. Faster. That sounds like Drake. I gasp and walk towards our bedroom. The door is slightly ajar. Peeking through the gap, the scene in front of me sends a shock through my body. My closest friend is sitting on top of Drake, riding him into his ecstasy. I whimper quietly. "What are you doing?" Barging into the room, I shout with tears streaming down my face. Layla jumps off of Drake and wraps a sheet round herself. Drake gets up and gives me the dirtiest look I've ever seen. He grabs his clothes and pulls them on. "It's not what it looks like, Cora," Layla says. "Yes, it is Layla. She might as well know," Drake says. "No? Know what?" I ask. "Layla and I have been getting together for quite some time. She's giving me what I need, so I no longer need you," he states. "I'm sorry, Cora. It just happened a while back," Layla whispers. I shake my head, not believing that my life is in shreds. I turn to Drake. "I thought you loved me. We were trying for pups. You can't do this," I wail, grabbing his hands. He pulls his hands away harshly. "You're useless," he shouts. 3 years, and you can't even— forget it. Just leave," he says. "No, I won't. You are my mate." Raising my voice, I show him how determined I am at staying. "You will, or I will throw you out," he hisses. I look between the both of them, shaking my head. "No, I will not," I say, stamping my feet. Then Drake grabs me. "Drake, please don't do this," I scream. "I can't have an incompetent Luna anymore," he growls. Carrying me over his shoulder, he walks to the front door of our house. He dumb the floor and turns his back to me. "I, Alpha Drake, Hemming of the Stone Moon Pack, reject you, Luna Cora Lycaios of the White Moon Kingdom, and hereby banish you from my lands." "Drake, why? We could keep trying. Please, I'll do anything," I say while crying. "You are no longer of need to me. I have an heir on the way. Now leave," he roars. He walks back into the pack house and doesn't turn back. What am I supposed to do now? I stand up and dust off my black jeans and green jumper, knowing I must leave. Looking out beyond the drive, the dirt road is the only way to get out of the pack. I look to my right and see that Drake had been planning this for a while, since my stuff lay in boxes just next to the building. How did I not notice them on my way in? Walking over, I search through the boxes. Grabbing a backpack, I shove a few pieces of clothing in it, and I leave everything else in the boxes. I turn away from the pack house and walk to the end of the drive. Then I stop. I look back to my old bedroom window. Seeing Drake back in there, cuddling Layla, tears form in my eyes. I look away from the window and run down the dirt road. Not being able to control my crying, I stumbled a few times. After 2 miles of running, I slow myself to a walk. How could he do this to me? We were so happy for 5 long years. I knew an heir was important to him, but didn't realize it was an ultimatum. I never even had a pregnancy. Not one. I know 3 years isn't much, and people out there try for a lifetime and don't succeed, but I never thought Drake could do this to me. Huffing, I think the only place I can go is back to my father. I will have to tell him the truth. If I am unable to bear children, then the kingdom will have no heir after me, and it will be passed to the strongest alpha after my death. The thought of not being able to have a child makes my heart hurt. Being an only child with one parent was hard. I'd love to have a couple of children who have both parents. I always thought it would be Drake standing by my side with me. Now that dream is gone. I guess he will be happy with Layla and their pup. She didn't look or smell any different. With being Luna, I should have smelled something different. Forgetting my turmoils, I concentrate on finding somewhere to sleep for the night. With the sun going down, the rogues will come out. I find a large tree trunk hanging over a crater. In the crater is a small waterfall with what looks to be a small cave at the back of it. I climb down the tree, seeing no other way into the crater. I walk from the tree over to the small cave. Going to the very back of the small cave, I place my backpack on the ground. I don't think anyone will be able to find me down here, so I'll get some rest. I try to get comfy on the hard rock floor and use my backpack as a pillow. Thinking back to this morning when Drake threw me out, I feel the tears trying to leak out. I don't understand how he can reject me so heartlessly. He didn't even give me a chance to accept or reject it, which means I am still bound to him. I didn't think Layla would do this to me. She became a good friend to me after I met her in the kingdom, but I guess she must have had a change of heart. I take some deep breaths and try to calm myself down. I wipe at the tears that have escaped, not wanting to have any emotions toward the man I love right now. I close my eyes tightly and slowly drift off to sleep. Not knowing where my life will take me now after such an unexpected rejection. Will I be able to carry on with this pitiful life? Cora's POV, 5 years earlier. I'm standing on the balcony of my bedroom looking out across our gardens, transfixed by the sunset just above the vast forests of our lands, the orange, yellows, and pinks and blending together with the bright blue sky above, birds flying past, whistling their love songs. I look to our lake just below my balcony and see my father, King Conry, talking to the new alpha of the Stone Moon Pack. What kind of pack name is that anyway? His father just passed away suddenly, and now he has taken over the pack. Turning around, I look through the doors and into my bedroom. The color white has always given me a feeling of clarity, so I redecorated my room a year ago. Now I have a plush white carpet and white walls with pale silver swirls along them. I laugh to myself. My father finds it funny how his daughter, who has jet black hair, loves white. He even groans when he comes in here saying it's blinding his eyes. Then he goes, "I'm melting. Save my poor soul." He is a complete child sometimes, but I love him. I walk back into my room, grab my phone off the dresser and flop onto the bed. Opening the messaging app, I send a quick text to my friend Layla. We've not known each other long, but she's becoming a real good friend. Her mother works down in our kitchens as a head cook. She has always lived here, but Layla only came here recently. I know her mother hasn't found her mate, but I would love to know the story behind how Layla came around. "Hey, what time are you going to the meal?" I message Layla, and instantly I get a reply. "Your father told me 6:30, as the meal is at 7. "God, that means 6 for me then. I best get ready." I sign and roll my eyes. "Girl, it's 5:30 already. Move it!" She replies with an angry face. I laugh at that. Oh shit, I've got 30 minutes, I whisper shout to myself. Dropping my phone, I dash off into my bathroom. I quickly shower and towel dry myself. Coming back to my dresser, I sit down and blow dry my hair, trying and failing to get it as straight as possible in the mirror. "For God's sake, you idiotic hair. Will you behave?" I growl. Giving up, I grab all my hair and make a bun with it, pulling down small tendrils along the sides of my face. Done. Grabbing my mascara and highlighter, I lightly put some on. My father hates me wearing makeup, as he says true beauty should reflect one's true self. Loads of bollocks in my eyes, but whatever. I'll appease him. After being done with that, I run into my closet and grab the hanging garment bag, flinging it over onto my bed. Reaching down, I grab my white strap heels and my mother's jewelry from the drawer. Running back to the bed, I dump it all on there. Huffing and puffing like mad. Unzipping the garment bag, I pull my dress out. It's a white silk, form-fitting dress which slowly turns into silver at the bottom where it becomes more flowery. It has a small slit up the left and thick straps. I jump into my dress, pulling and tugging until it's on just right, grabbing my heels. I sit on the bed and buckle the straps. I snatch my mother's jewelry off the bed and head straight for the door, pulling the bracelets on, then pushing the simple earrings through my ears. I open the door and walk straight into a brick wall. "Ah, shit! What the hell?" I curse. 2 hands grab my arms, steadying me. "Cora," my father says. "Uh-oh. If I knew it was him, I wouldn't have cursed." "What have I said about cursing?" He frowns at me. "Father, I know what you said, but I didn't expect to bump into a wall on my way out," I defend myself. His lips twitch ever so slightly. "A wall, huh? I didn't know I remodeled this wing," his lips leaking more of his smile. I snorted at him. "Come on, old man. We are going to be late. Enough of the games." I huff and turn to go down the hallway. "Who are you calling old man, you little squirt?" he exclaims. Now I do laugh at that. He never ceases to amaze me with his childish manners when with me. If anyone saw this, they would think I'm the parent, not him. "Come on, we need to move it. I know those bones are going to crumble, but not today, please," I shout and start speeding down the hallway. "But you... What, Cora?" He stammers, then shouts. Time to run, I guess. I make it all the way to the top of the staircase before I'm stopped. "If you weren't my daughter, you'd be running much faster than that." He laughs while grabbing me around the waist and swinging me round in circles. Please. If it wasn't for my heels, your crippled arse wouldn't have caught me. I laugh. Suddenly, he lets go, and I land on my feet once again, dazed. Grabbing the banister, I steady myself. Sometimes I wonder about you, he says, looking shocked. Yeah, same to you, father. Anyway, we need to get downstairs before I decide to kick you down them. I groan. He leans backward and belly laughs at me. I start walking down the stone staircase and hear him follow behind while still chuckling. Getting halfway, I slow my speed and tidy my hair from the disturbance. My father catches up, then we walk side by side down the rest of the stairs, giving him a side glance. I do wonder why he stays single. He's over 6 feet with brown hair and good facial features, and he doesn't seem to be aging. We walk through the foyer down to the banqueting hall. The guards open the door to let us in. My father looks down at me and then offers his arm with a smile. Putting my hand through his arm, I smile at him. We walk through the doors and greet all the alphas and their lunas from the surrounding packs. We get to the final couple just as the guard announces dinner is ready. Leading the way to the dining table, we take our seats in the middle of the table. I notice the seat next to me is empty. Suddenly the door to the banquet hall opens, and in walks Alpha Drake. My whole body freezes. Sorry, my king, I had an emergency. Then he looks up and gazes at all the guests until he lands on me. Mate, he says. Cora's POV. I wake up to rustling sounds near my head, forgetting the dream of meeting Drake. I open my eyes and see nothing around by the water. Then I hear it again next to my head. The zipper on my bag is moving. I suddenly sit up and turn around. I find a small little bundle curled up trying to now hide behind my bag. Dirt all over his or her body, naked with lots of scars all down their back. Never mind the fact I can see its bones so easily. Sticking out like branches on a tree. Oh, I didn't know what to say. Hey, honey, I'm not going to hurt you. Look, I will move back for you, but will you please show me your face, I ask. The little figure is shaking like a leaf, but nods its head. So I shuffle myself backward to give room. The child looks up and blesses my heart. This poor child seems to have suffered severely from the scars on its face. With long, dirty blonde hair which reaches its hips, thin cheeks and sunken eyes. I internally cringe at the long scar that runs from the middle of her head, down the side of her eye, to the middle of her cheek. I cover my emotions, not letting on to the pain I feel for this child. Okay, can you talk? I ask tentatively. The child nods slowly. Are you a boy or girl? I squint, trying to figure it. Girl, ma'am, she whispers. Do you have a name, child? Perry, ma'am. How old are you? 10. I nod my head. She looks about 5 due to malnourishment. Looking at little Perry pulls at my heart. How could someone do this to a child? I notice her shivering while trying to wrap her gangly arms around herself. Perry, would you like something to wear to keep you warm? I promise I won't hurt you, I say gently. Yes, please, ma'am. Please call me Cora. I've got some nice thick jumpers in my bag. Grab whichever one you like. I smile at her. Her eyes open wide, revealing the gray color in them. She slowly grabs the zip and then stops, looking back at me to check if it's still okay. I nod. Once it is open again, she stops. I nod again. She grabs the top jumper, which is a long navy blue cotton jumper, and quickly puts it on. The jumper reaches just above her knee, and the sleeves are very long for her. May I? I reach my hands out, and then stop, waiting to see if she will let me roll the sleeves up for her. She nods. I get on my knees and move towards her, keeping my hands in front of me. Once I'm just arm's reach from her with my backpack in between us, I move my hands so my palms face up. She lifts her head and just watches me for a moment. Then her left arm comes up to my hands. I grab the end of the sleeve and start rolling the fabric towards her until I see her fingers sticking out, then let go. I do the same to the other one. I watch her flexing her fingers and looking at me curiously. Not wanting to scare her, I sit back down and cross my legs, waiting to see if she does anything. I decide she doesn't need me staring at her, so I turn my attention to the waterfall. The sound of the water splashing into the pond and the birds chirping in the background soothed me. The colors of the sunrise just peeking through the waterfall make it shine like magic is flowing through it. I close my eyes and just listen, waiting to see if little Perry does anything. I hear sounds of movement from her, then feel a finger poke at my leg. Then again, a few seconds later. Next thing I know, little Perry is slowly climbing into my lap and curling up into a ball. I wrap both my arms around her, wanting to protect her from this terrible world. I raise my hand and stroke her hair. I don't have any food or water, little Perry, but I think we need to find some quickly. You look like you could use a good meal. Do you think the waterfall is safe to drink? I ask. I wasn't planning to get food on the way down, but with me, I can't not. The water is okay, ma'am, she whispers back. Please, call me Cora. Come on, let's go have a drink of it, and then you can come with me to my home. We will find some food on the way there, okay? She nods her little head, and we both get up. Walking out from behind the waterfall, we stop at the side of it, and I hold my hands out in a cup shape and collect some of the water, drinking straight from my hands, then giving some to Perry. Once we've had enough, I ask Perry, "Hey, how did you get into this crater?" "I had to climb down that tree over there," pointing to the fallen tree. "See the gap over there?" She points to a medium-sized hole just past the right of the waterfall. I nod my head at her. "If you go through the hole, it leads to a stone staircase which comes out under a bush in the forest." "Do you think I will fit?" I ask. "Yes, it's big. I've been coming here for a long time now, and some of the big men can get through it," she says while looking down. I kneel down in front of her, grasping her tiny hands. "Perry, are you alone? How long have you been coming here?" I ask, concerned that she's 10 and no parent is in sight. "My grandma was looking after me, but men came to take her away about 3 months ago. A few days later, I found this place. The men said they needed my grandma for her sight." She looks up at my face, and slowly a tear leaks out. I wipe away at it. "Oh, Perry, I'm so sorry that's happened to you. Don't worry, though. No matter what, I will keep you with me. Nobody will hurt you while with me, okay?" I reassure her. "What do you mean they wanted her for her sight?" I ask. "She's a seer. People come from all over to get a vision from her," she says. "Oh, okay. What about your parents?" "I never knew them. They were killed when I was a baby, so my grandma looked after me. She showed me how to see." She smiles while reaching for my hand. "That means you can see my future, doesn't it?" She nods her little head at that. Not knowing what to say, I embrace her in a tight hug. "Come on, sweetheart, we need to get going." I let go of her, and she leads the way to the staircase. She goes through the hole first, and then I crawl through. Cora's POV. On the other side is a massive staircase with shallow but long steps. It could fit a car in here because it's so wide. We climb to the top of the stairs, and just as I'm about 2 steps from the top, Perry stops in front of me. She turns to me and holds her finger to her lips, then points just through the bush to 2 figures walking through the trees. I pull on Perry's hand, wanting her to not be seen or smelt by the 2 men, knowing they are rogues. She comes willingly towards me, and wrapping my arms around her, we wait to see what the men do. "I can smell something. It smells fresh," says the one. "Boss always likes fresh meat. Track it," says the other. I and Perry look at each other. She starts shaking, and I rub my hand up her back. "Don't worry, we will be fine," I whisper. She nods her head, and we go back to watching the men. They walk towards us and stand close to the bush we are in. They are both wearing black shorts and black t-shirts with shaved heads, almost like twins. Both look very thin, but still would be able to overpower me. "The smell goes this way," the first one says, pointing just behind our bush. The men walk off. I look through the bush in the direction they went and see their backs slowly disappearing. "Perry, we need to leave now and quickly. That one seems to be a tracker, so the sooner we get away, the better." I rush out. She whispers back, "Ma'am, they are dangerous men. They took people from my village. Can we stay here instead?" She asks. Perry saying that heightens my nerves, solidifying the fact that we need to move. "I wish we could, but I need to get home and I'm not leaving you alone here, so please come with me." The desperation in my voice must convince her, as the next thing I know, she's up on her feet checking the surroundings, then grabbing my hand and pulling me through the bushes and into the trees. We run as far and as fast as we can. We come to a medium-sized grass clearing in the forest. The long golden grass reaches above my hips. It's that tall. I know little Perry wouldn't be able to see over it. Crouching behind a large tree on a slope, I scan the area. It looks safe, but the fact that there isn't any movement in the grass or any noise from birds worries me. I feel a small tug on my hand and look at Perry next to me. Grandma always said to stay away from here, Miss Cora. She voices, her gray eyes moving in every direction across it. She can only just see above the grass now. We're going to have to try Perry. It's the quickest way home, I say, pulling her attention from the grass back to me. Please, can we go another way? She looks around the forest, but it all leads back to this meadow unless we go around, which will take at least a day. We can't. It will take too long. Come on, you with me. We will be fine, I reassure her. Walking towards the meadow, I push aside the long grass, waiting for Perry to join me. She comes behind me and grabs the loop in my trousers, holding tightly. Nodding her little head, we start walking through. I keep an eye out for any movement in the grass. We get half walk, and that's when I see the two men from before, coming out of the trees just to our right. Perry, we need to run now, I whisper and start running through the meadow. The men notice the movement and look directly at me. They start running in my direction. Faster, Perry! It's the men! I squeal, running for my life. I stop looking backward and focus on the forest. We get close to the end of the meadow when I hear a scream from Perry. I feel myself being pulled backward. Cora! She yells. The men had grabbed Perry, and with her holding on to me, I was also pulled in the process. I end up falling down onto my back. Perry is being held by one man, while the other comes towards me, grabbing onto my arm. Hold on, Perry, I'm coming! I yank my arm forward as hard and as fast as I can, sending the man sprawling in the grass. I look back to Perry and see her hitting and kicking the man who's holding her around the waist with both arms. I pull myself up and go to help her. But before I can, she headbutts the guy in the nose. He releases her immediately, stumbling backward, blood spewing from his nose. He screams in pain. She drops to the ground just as I get to her. You okay? I ask, and she nods. Come on, let's go, I say. I quickly grab her hand and turn us back to the forest, ready to run. But stop short. Standing before us is a black wolf. The wolf is snarling and snapping its jaw together at us, slowly taking steps toward us. Cora, what do we do? Perry asks. I'm not sure, I whisper. Just as I'm about to make another rung for it, the man with a busted nose appears and pulls a knife to Perry's neck. Now, no need to panic. I won't harm the child if you behave. He grins. Let her go. She's just a child, I plead, dropping to my knees. The man laughs. Then, looking at the wolf behind me, he says, Brody, shift, man. The wolf growls once more, then shifts. Standing before me once again is the man. He goes to the side and grabs his clothes. What do you want with us? I ask. The boss needs a new toy, and you will do perfectly, he sneers at me. Now this little one could be our little slave, he says while grabbing Perry's chin and pulling it up to look at him. She whimpers. No, I won't let you, I shout. Getting up, I run at the man holding Perry, kicking him in the thigh and then punching his face. He stumbles from the hit, and the knife against Perry's neck digs into her, cutting her skin. The blood trickles down her neck. Ah! Perry whimpers. The man, Brody, grabs both of my wrists from behind me and pulls them back up my back towards my shoulders. I scream in pain. Bending forward. Okay, I shout. Carl, fetch the girl. This one will soon follow willingly, Brody says while sniffing my hair. Carl, the man holding Perry, grabs a handful of her hair and drags her along into the forest. Brody shoves me to the ground and follows after them. I can't let them have her, and since I don't know where they'd take her, I have to follow them. So that's exactly what I do. Cora's POV. I follow behind Brody at a distance, keeping my eyes on Carl pulling Perry along by her hair. We walk a few miles into the forest when I've had enough. Could you at least hold her arm instead of her hair? I shout to Carl. He laughs. Ah, worried about your precious girl. He snarls, then gives her hair a big yank. Ah, Perry groans at the pain, tears coming to her eyes. Stop. You're hurting her, please, I say. Carl, pack it in. We need her unharmed. Brody says while looking around. He won't care about a little pull. They are just trespassers, he growls back. Please, can you just let us go? We just want to go home, I exclaim, looking between them both. Not gonna happen, princess. You will have to ask the king, and he loves a good slave, especially one who looks like you. Carl laughs. Carl, pass us the girl and go look over there, pointing to the right into some deep bushes. Brody nods at Carl. Passing Perry to Brody, Carl goes off into the forest, sniffing and moving bushes trying to get a scent. I look at Perry. She's sitting on her knees with her shoulders shaking from her crying. Hopefully, I can get Perry away from them, and then all we have to do is run. Again. I move closer to them, trying to be as quiet as possible. Brody has his back to me, looking through the forest trying to find something. Just as I'm about to grab Perry, I hear a snap behind me. I stop moving, and looking back at Brody, I see him smile. Turning, I see Carl behind me. "Hello, beautiful," he says, smiling. "New." I hear Perry shout, then punches me in the head, knocking me out cold. "Cora." I open my eyes to a blurry figure in front of me, then close them. I feel someone shaking my body. "Miss Cora," the person says. I groan at the shaking. I know that voice, it's Perry's. Someone slaps me across the face, startling me out of my haze. I bolt upright, rubbing my cheek to try to get the sting away. I glance at Perry to my left and then around the brick cage with a metal door we're in. "Oh, Perry, are you okay?" Grabbing her arms, I fetch her in for a hug. "Yes, ma'am. Sorry I slapped you," she whispers into my neck. "It's okay. As long as you are okay, I don't mind. Now tell me everything that happened after I passed out," I say, pulling back from the hug. Perry nods her head, wiping her tears away. "They carried you through the forest, then blindfolded me when we got close to this place, so I couldn't see exactly where it was, but I remember as I counted my steps. When we got inside, they took off my blindfold. There is lots of people here. It's like a huge house, but isn't at the same time. They fetched us all the way downstairs, chucked you in here, and told me to sit and wait for you to wake," she says, shaking. I rub my hands up and down her arms, trying my best to comfort her in this terrible situation. "Don't worry, we will be fine. How long have I been out?" "A couple of hours," she hiccups. Nodding my head, I look around the room. A small mattress lays in the corner with a blanket. There's a bucket next to the door, but no windows. It's a complete brick cage with dirt floors. We must be underground, I think. Brody comes to the door and smiles. "You're awake, I see. Good, the king wants to see you," he says. Opening the door, he comes in and grabs Perry's arm, pulling her with him. Looking back at me, he nods his head, indicating for me to follow. "Move now," he says. Not wanting to leave Perry with him, I follow behind, keeping as close to Perry as I can. We walk down a long corridor, then turn right to go up some stairs. At the top of the stairs, we turn left. It's like a maze of long corridors. I wonder how big this place actually is. All I notice are dark walls, concrete floors, and black doors everywhere. Coming down the one corridor, we stop midway through. Brody shakes his head and stands against the wall and puts his eyes on the ground. Before following his lead, I look just past him, then instantly copy him. There are two men walking towards us. Both were in nice suits, and another man walking behind them looking at his phone. The man with the phone stops right in front of me. I keep my head down, and he sniffs the air and then looks directly at me. "Look at me," says the man gruffly. Looking up at him, I see his sparkling blue eyes, and his brown hair is cut short. He is quite tall with sharp features. "Alpha Kia? Any problem?" Brody asks. "Alpha Kia? I know that name from somewhere. Who are these girls?" Looking at Brody, he asks. "Just some we picked up in the wood, sir. Mother and daughter, I believe. I'm taking them to the king for admittance," Brody states. Alpha Kia hums. Reaching out, he strokes his finger against my cheek. "Tell him if he has no use for them to let me know. I would pay greatly," he grumbles, then walks away with his men. "Like that would ever happen," Brody whispers under his breath. "Follow me," he grumbles. Then we are off again, walking down the corridors again. We come to a huge set of metal doors. Stopping, Brody knocks twice, waits, then knocks twice again. "Let's hope you two make it out alive." "The king is not a merciful man," Brody laughs. The doors open, and we find ourselves shoved in and pushed down to the floor on our knees. The doors close behind us. I look around and see we're in a kind of ballroom. Lots of pillars are to my left and right, and a big, empty throne chair sits at the top. "You okay, Perry?" I whisper. She nods gently. I hear a door open and close. Steps sound somewhere from the room. Then a man appears in the throne chair. He looks directly at us and smiles. "Hello, my dears. What can I do for you?" Kia's POV. "Nigel, what is the meaning of these attacks on my pack?" I ask. Walking into his throne room, not bothering with small talk, I stop a few feet from his chair. That's King Nigel to you, Alpha Kia. If I show you respect, I deserve it back, he growls. Fine, whatever. I just want to know why you're attacking my pack when I don't know what it is you want, let alone what I did. I say, waving my arms around like a maniac. I feel like a child. Not an alpha right now. He looks at me through squinted eyes, trying to figure something out. I'm looking for a girl. She's in one of the packs spy I've heard. Since your pack is the strongest, I thought I'd start with you. Also, I knew if you didn't have her, you'd find her. Why not ask me before attacking? I've lost some close friends because of you. I shout. What kind of girl? I wonder. Changing the subject quickly. He scrutinizes me for a second before saying, This girl is very special to me. She is 21 and her father is very powerful. I want her by my side to help me with some things. Okay, well, what color hair? Eyes? Skin? How tall is she? Do you have a photo? I ask all the questions he should know the answers to. I can only give you the information that I already have. Anything beyond that would put my plan in jeopardy, he growls. I scoff at him. This is nothing to go on. Do you know her name at least? He shakes his head and looks away. Silence descends across the room. Sighing, he turns back to me after a few minutes. I can give you one more piece of information, but it must be kept secret. Not even your beta can know. I nod my head, agreeing with that term. She was born in the kingdom. I think through my pack members and none comes to mind. We don't seem to have anyone who's 21 at the moment, at least not a girl, at least not a transfer. Sorry, Nigel, but I haven't got a girl of that age in my pack. All of them are below 19 or above 22. He nods, accepting my answer. Anyway, Alpha Kia, I would like you to help me find her. In return, I will help you find your mate with all my power. He smiles, knowing my mate is all I want. Fine, but no more attacks. He nods his head and we shake hands. Then I turn away and leave quickly, not wanting to waste another second in this room. Coming to this place was a mistake. Yes, I may have got the so-called rogue king to stop attacking my pack, but now I've got to help him find some special girl. Maybe this girl could actually be my mate. Highly unlikely, but there is a chance. Shaking my head, I follow my men down the endless set of corridors. Wow, this place truly is putrid. How he and all these people can live here, I don't know. I mean, I know rogues don't care, but it's disgusting. It's constantly too hot, always muddy, and the smell is like something out of a morgue. Filth. That's all it is. Carrying on to our way out, we come down one corridor where I see Brody up ahead. He's the right-hand man of the rogue king. He has two girls with him who I've never seen. At least they know their place, already standing against the wall with heads down. Just as I'm about to walk past them all, I stop right next to the taller girl. Something smells different about her. Brody checks everything is okay, but I just ask who they are. Mother and daughter don't seem right. Maybe sisters, although they don't look alike. I ask the girl to look at me, and as soon as she does, I have to control myself. Bright green eyes like emeralds and hair so black, almost like looking at nothing. Literally. Pale skin and such soft features. I stroke her cheek and feel a spark, not wanting Brody to notice anything. I tell him to let the king know I'd like to buy them. Then I walk away, not showing my true interest and needing space from her beauty. We come out of the underground and enter the shack through the hidden door. Just outside the shack, we have my truck waiting. I jump in the front next to my beta Riggs, while my gamma Luca sits in the back. Riggs, keep an eye on those girls, I say inside the confines of the car. Yes, Alpha, he nods while starting the truck. Hey, Alf, eh? Luca says, jerking from the sudden takeoff. I hum, waiting for something stupid to come out of his mouth. What was with you when you saw that girl? It's like you turned to jelly. Wibble wobble, he laughs, waving his arms and body. I see Riggs smile and snort from the corner of my eye. Oh, shut it, Luca. I groan. Hey, I'm being serious. I've never seen you like that, he states. Honestly, I'm not sure, but when you touched her, he interrupts. Never mind, it's stupid, I say, looking out the window. Alpha, if you don't mind me saying, but we will all go through it at some point. You are technically giving us pointers, Riggs says. It surprises me, as he is a man of very few words. Okay, when I got close to her, it's like my body froze, needing to be near her. When I touched her, I felt a spark. But I don't think she's my mate, as the smell didn't seem too strong. Also, I couldn't smell her wolf either, so I don't even think she's even 18. I sigh. Don't worry, boss. I'll keep tabs on them. We'll get your zaps back as well, Luca laughs. You're a twat, Luca, I chuckle. Cora's POV. Walking forward with Perry, we don't answer his question. I whisper to her. If he asks, we are half-sisters, and the rest I will make up. Just let me talk, okay? She nods to me while glimpsing at the man. We stop a couple of feet from his chair in the throne room. We wait patiently for him to talk again. Now, girls, I've heard you've come to assist with some daily chores for me. How nice of you. He says in a deep, grumbly voice with a slight smile playing on his mouth. No, we haven't. We were captured by your men and brought here against our will. I grunt. He laughs at my bluntness. Holding his stomach, he talks around his chuckles. Putting it bluntly, yes, but you're safer here than out there. Now, before we find you the best chores around here, do tell me about yourselves. We both stay silent, not wanting to reveal much about ourselves. Instead, we wait. I must warn you, girls, if you don't answer, you will be punished greatly. I'd prefer if you would tell me, though, he snarls. I clear my throat from the knot in it and think carefully, opening and closing my mouth, then ideas pop into my head. My name is Callie, I say, using my mother's name. And this is Sari, my half-sister? I lie nodding toward Perry, and she nods back, a small smile reaching her lips. And how old are the both of you? He asks, squinting his eyes at us. I lie again. I am 23. Sari is 7. You are not the girl I was looking for. Too old, it seems. He frowns, whispering to himself, not knowing I heard him. Anyway, why such a big age gap between you? Explain it, he demands, waving his hands. My mother got pregnant with me at 17 and died when I was 3. My father found a chosen mate a couple of years later, but only got pregnant with Sari when I turned 15, I mumble. Seeming satisfied with that answer, even with my hesitation, he asks a more difficult one. It's funny, I can sense you have a wolf, but it's like you don't as well. Now your sister hears, appears to have no wolf. Why is that? He furrows his brows at us. Well, I've been told I am wolfless because she won't come forward. My father was told it may be from losing my mother. I squeeze both my hands together, nervous he won't accept it. I have heard of that happening in Sari, he hums. Her mother was half human, half werewolf, so we aren't sure what will happen, I say. Well, it seems that my men have brought in a bunch of runts, from what you're saying. You won't do well out in the world alone. You would have probably died if they hadn't fetched you here. So, with that, I would say you owe me a debt, he replies. Unsure how to answer, I stay quiet for a while. How could he call it a debt when we had no choice, I think to myself. We would still like to head home, though. Our father will be worried. Please, I ask as nicely as possible. Why were you traveling alone? Does this man ever not ask questions? I'm getting annoyed at having to make up more lies. I groan quietly and answer again. There is only us, our father, and Siri's mum left in our village. Everyone else got captured or killed, so our father hunts. We look for good water sources, and Siri's mum, she looks after the garden, I say, trying to sound convincing but failing in my own eyes. Garden? Do you mean like fruits and vegetables? He asks with a slight hint of enthusiasm. I nod my head, glad I used that lie now. At least I know how to plant and grow things. Well, girls, it seems I have found you a chore in my home, and your debt can be paid to me. If you choose to help us get started with planting and growing, in return I will set you free and clear this debt. He smiles at us, but his eyes convey hurt. We stay silent, not agreeing or disagreeing with him, and hoping like hell he will set us free. You will find I am generally a humble and reasonable man, but if you cross me, I will have no hesitation in killing you both. So what do you say? Will you pay off your debt, or shall I get the slaughterhouse ready? He gets up and walks closer to us, stopping a foot away. I kneel in front of Perry, grabbing both her hands and turning her towards me. Getting her full attention, using her fake name, I say, Sari, I think, for now, it's our best option to stay for a bit. Not wanting to get the Rogue King angry, I play along. Okay, but then we go back to Mum and Dad, she whispers. I nod my head while smiling at her, trying to show her she did well playing along. Yes, this nice man said we will help for a short time, then we can go home, I say. You can call me Nigel, little miss, he says unexpectedly. Standing back up, I look back to the Rogue King. Okay, but we would like to leave as soon as doable if that's okay. Sari will miss our parents otherwise, I request, indicating to her. He nods to his guard, not answering my request. Take the girls to the garden floor and put them to work straight away. They can stay on that floor in the bunker, he commands him. I want to interject and ensure that we will have freedom afterward, but with his quick change of behavior, I don't bother. I keep going back to what he said about looking for a girl, wondering who it could be and why would he need a girl. Guess I'll have to make some friends in here to find out. Maybe while I do that, we can escape. We follow the guard back out of the room, and just before we leave, Perry stops. She turns back to the Rogue King and says, "Thank you, Nigel, for taking care of us." Then she waves at him. Surprisingly, he waves back. "You're most welcome, Sari." Smiling at her, Cora's POV. After following the guard from the throne room, we walked to the planting floor. I found out it was the floor below the ground above. We're closer to freedom than I ever realized. Only if we could find a way out. They've got 6 raised planting beds, with brick walls built around them. It has specific lights, heaters, and coolers all around the room to ensure that the plants will grow at fast speeds. Just off the planting room is a little bunker. It is a single room that has a cooker, sink, and double bed. Just off it is a door that has a small bathroom for us to use. This is where you will stay. All the necessary things for planting you will find in the cupboard just outside your door to the left. Do not disappoint the Rogue King, he states. We both nod our heads, and then the guard walks out before leaving the planting room, though he turns back to us and says, "Get to work straight away. Don't dilly-dally around." Looking at Perry, I realize the situation we are in. I know we need to get out of here as soon as possible, otherwise we'll be trapped here forever. Hugging her to me, I say, "We best do as we're told for now until we can get out of here. If we don't know what the Road King could do to us." "Miss Cora, I don't want to stay here. That man seemed nice, but I don't trust him. He's hurt my family before," she whispers, clutching me tight. "Shh, we can't have them know our real names while we are here. Just refer to me as Callie, and I will call you Sari, okay? And don't worry, I won't let him hurt us at all." She nods her head at this, while looking down at the ground. Knowing we have to get to work sooner or later, I head out of the door of the bunker and straight to the cupboard in search of planting material. Perry follows close behind me. Looking in the cupboard, I see they've got seeds for potatoes, carrots, corn, tomatoes, and loads of others. Every little thing which a thriving economy would need to start with is here. I grab what I think would be needed first. I grab potatoes, carrots, and tomato seeds, leaving the other 3 beds alone, ready for when the Rogue King will come and decide what to plant in them. Grabbing the fertilizer, watering can, and the small shovel, we head to the first planting bed, making small holes, putting a tiny bit of fertilizer in, then the seeds afterward we cover it with the soil again and put a sprinkle of water on, repeating this several times over the 3 boxes. Just as we are planting the 3rd box with the seeds, the door to the room opens. In walks the Rogue King and a servant carrying a tray. "Hello, girls. How are you getting on? I've brought you a treat, as it looks like you haven't eaten in a while," he says, smiling, walking closer into the room. We both stand up and I say, "Thank you, sir. We've planted carrots and tomatoes, and we are just finishing off the potatoes now," I say, pointing towards the beds. "Well, I think it's time you have a bite to eat then. This is Mary. She is one of our waiters. If you need anything, she will fetch it for you. Go put the food on the table, Mary." Mary walks off quickly, doing as she's told. "Sir, before we eat, can you tell us what you would like in the other 3 planting beds? I was unsure as to what you might like or if there's anything specific you need." I frown, looking between him and the beds. Just before he answers, the door to the room opens again, and in walks Carl and Brody, with a young man in handcuffs. He looks about 19. "Sorry to interrupt, sir, but this boy here decided he wanted to escape with some food," Brody states. The Rogue King turns around and faces the 3 men. "Did he know? And what do you have to say for yourself, boy?" he asks in a deep voice. Sorry, sir. I have a friend outside. She's starving," he stumbles out. "Find her. Send my whip in here as well." He points to Carl. "No, please, no, sir," the boys shout. Then Perry does the unexpected. She goes over to the Rogue King and tugs on his shirt. He looks down, instantly changing his scowling face to a smile, forgetting instantly about the boy. "Nigel, may I go to the bathroom and have some food, please?" She looks up at him with soft eyes. He reaches down and strokes her cheek. "Yes, sweet girl, you may. I will join you while we wait." "Beat him," he says to Brody. Then he leads us both into our bunker. After having our food at the table, the king announced, "Callie, I want you outside watching, but little Sari here must stay in this room. We can't have her eyes seeing the things that are going to happen," he states. I nod my head but stay quiet. It seems as if the Rogue King has a soft spot for little Perry. If it stops her from seeing the things that are about to happen, then I'm glad he does. But it also makes me scared that he'll never let us go. Walking out of the room with the Rogue King, we wait for Carl to arrive. Minutes later, he walks in with the girl in one hand and a whip in the other. The girl seems to be early teens. Carl shoves her to the floor next to the boy. "So a girl, who are you, and why are you stealing my food?" Nigel demands. "Please, sir, leave her be," the boy begs. "Answer me," he shouts. "I'm sorry, he was just trying to help me. I'm all alone," she says, sobbing her heart out. "That makes no difference. If he had brought you to me, you would be fed as my slave." He slaps the girl across the face, sending her sprawling across the floor. He grabs his whip from Carl, nodding to the boy. Carl lies the boy down on the floor and cuts his top off. Uncurling the whip, Nigel stretches his arm backward and pulls the whip down onto the boy repeatedly. The crack of the whip against his back sounds like a door slamming, the blood from his back cascading across the room. In the background, the girl screams for him to stop, but he doesn't even flinch. "This will teach you not to disrespect me, boy," Nigel says through clenched teeth. Cora's POV. King Nigel continuously whips the boy until he no longer moves at all. His back, looking like a child, has drawn loads of squiggles on a piece of paper onto his back, but with blood. There is no skin left there. The girl cries and wails loudly, screaming at the sight of his back, trying to get as far away from the king as possible, but to no avail as Brody just holds her still. The king drops the whip. It clatters to the floor and spits more blood everywhere. Huffing from the exertion of the constant whipping, the king catches his breath. Blood splatters all across his clothes and face, streaks of it all across the room. He turns around to face me. I have tears running down my face and kneeled on the ground with my head lowered. "I am sorry, Callie, that I made you watch this, but you must learn also to never cross me. I don't treat you well if you don't respect me," he voices. I only nod my head, whimpering, afraid of the fact that he may do this to myself and Perry one day. The king looks back to the boy, who groans. "You shall both be punished for this treason. Take them down to the cells. They shall not get fed for 3 days. After that, only 1 meal a day, and they will be servants to all," he tells Carl. He turns toward Brody. "Call for the cleaners. We cannot have young Sari see this." "Yes, sir." Then Brody drags the girl away with him. Carl picks up the boy, throws him over his shoulder, and they both leave. Turning back to me, the Rogue King says, "Callie, you need to get cleaned up. You have blood across your clothes and face." I nod my head, slowly getting up, but staying quiet as possible, traumatized by the sight that was just before me. "Come with me. Mary will watch Sari while we clean ourselves up. We'll get you some clothes and a shower," he says, then turns to the door. "Thank you, sir," I whisper. Just as I'm following the king out of the planting room, Mary walks in. She nods her head at me with sympathetic eyes. We head down along the corridors to a set of stairs that go up. The king turns back to me and says, "This is my private quarters. I have a spare which you can use, and I will do the same, then we will head back to Sari." We enter his quarters. I glance around. It's plain but modern, with simple furnishings and very sparse. He leads me to the spare room, which has an ensuite. Seeing some clothes on the bed, I quickly go and shower, washing thoroughly to ensure no blood is left on my body. After I've dressed, I head back downstairs and stand by the entrance waiting for him. I would like to sit down, but I do not know if the king will like that. Coming down the steps, he notices me standing by the door, waiting patiently. "You can sit down, Callie. I will not hurt you for doing it. You have been obedient while being here. You are welcome in my home, and please don't call me sir. Call me Nigel," he says with a small smile, trying to ease my discomfort. Yes, sir. I mean Nigel. He smiles big at me. We both head out the door, back towards Perry. Going into the bunker, we see her sitting and playing a card game with Mary. They're both laughing, which is nice to see. I say to Perry, "What are you playing?" She looks up at me and smiles. Snap, although I'm not very good at it. I laugh at her and say, "Don't worry, I'm terrible at it too." Nigel frowns behind us but doesn't say anything. Clearing his throat, Nigel says, "Girls, get some sleep. You'll have a busy day tomorrow. Some of the plants will sprout by then, so you will have lots of work to do." Then he nods at Mary, and they both leave. Me and Perry brush our teeth and then get into the double bed. Covering ourselves with the blanket, we both slowly drift off to sleep. We wake up in the morning to knocking at our door. I jump out of the bed and immediately open it. Mary is standing there with a tray. She looks up at me and says, "Breakfast for both of you from the king." She enters and puts it on the table, uncovering the plates, which has a large variety of fruits, cereals, and a cooked breakfast underneath. Mary looks at us directly and says, "Please eat up, otherwise he will be disappointed. I will see you later," then walked straight back out the door. Myself and Perry, having not eaten much over the last few days, bar the one meal tucked straight into the food, we both have a bowl of cereal, some of the cooked breakfast, and some fresh fruit, which all goes down well with a glass of orange juice. Once we have finished it, we brush our teeth and head straight into the planting room. Before letting Perry into the planting room, I look around and see that there isn't any blood anywhere or any trace of last night's encounter with the young boy and girl. I do wonder what has happened to them. I know they will be in the cells, but it is still worrying how nasty Nigel can get. We get to the carrot planter and see that the carrots have tiny sprouts at the top to show that they are growing well underneath, which is quite surprising as we only planted them yesterday. We walk over to the tomatoes and see tiny stalks sticking out. Going over to check the potatoes, we see that the plant is starting to grow with tiny birds. Going back to the cupboard, we grab the sticks, watering cans, and plant food, ensuring that the tomatoes can grow up the vines and that they are all watered and fed. We hear a knock on the planting room door. Mary walks in with King Nigel. Mary goes straight into a bunker to clean up their plates. He directs her. King Nigel comes over to us and checks on all of the plants. "You girls are doing very well. I have decided what we want for the other 3 beds. We would like corn, and then the other 2 beds we will plant trees, 2 apple trees and 2 orange trees. Is that okay with you girls?" he questions. We both nod our heads, happy to be able to do apples and oranges. Nodding back at us, he then looks over to Mary. "Mary, find the girls a few sets of clothes. That way they can have 1 set for planting and a few sets for when they are able to walk round." "Yes, sir," she says immediately, then walks back out the door to do her job. Cora's POV. A few hours later, Mary comes back with the changes of clothes, putting them in our room. Coming up to me, she whispers in my ear, "You must get out of here as soon as possible. I have someone on the outside who will take care of you." I look back at her and frown. "How do we get out? It's a fortress? And how can we trust you?" "I can help you get out, but it will take a couple of days. You are best to stay here and behave for now. The reason I am helping is that I also need to get out of here. My family has been waiting years to see me. They all think I'm dead. I've been waiting for my chance, and now I believe you are it. Please." She looks at me pleadingly. I contemplate for a minute. Looking between Perry and Mary, I whisper back to Mary, "Okay, long as we can ensure that little Sari is safe at all times." She turns quickly and leaves. Myself and Perry carry on with the planting for the rest of the day. Mary comes back later with food for dinner, then she leaves again around 8 o'clock at night. Mary once again appears to collect the plates. Mary says to us both, "The king has said for you to be done for the day. Go get showered, changed, and into bed." We do as we're told and head into the bunker. We both shower, get changed into the fresh clothes that were given to us as pajamas, then get into bed. "Miss Cora, tell me about yourself. I don't know much." Perry says, "Okay, what would you like to know? Where are your parents? Where is your home? How old are you?" Those sort of questions. Right, where shall I start? My birthday is tomorrow, so I will be a year older. My parents' names are Calliope and Kondo. My home is the kingdom down south, and that is where I was heading, I reply. How old will you be? Why are you so far away? I whisper, 21. Then say, I thought I found my mate and have lived up here for many years, but it turns out that wasn't true, so I'm heading back to my father, and my mother passed away many years ago. I look away, feeling sad at the thought of her. Is that where you were going to take me? If you'd like to come with me, I would love to always have you with me. You are really like my little sister now. Tell me about yourself. When do you get to know more about your gift? My grandmother told me that when I turned 15, that is when my gift will reveal itself fully. Although I can see things now, it's not much, but she did say my powers will truly grow when I meet the one I belong to. What a riddle. Your grandmother seems like a very nice lady, though. I wonder where she is now. I wonder. I'm not sure. She could be here, but I don't know, Perry says dejectedly. What did your grandmother mean by saying meeting the one you belong to? I ask. I don't know if it would be my mate or my master. I didn't think Sears had a master. Grandmother told me that we all have them, it's just a case of finding them. We always cross paths, but we don't know truly until our master has a mate. I think to myself, it's an old set of words and ways of how it works for little Perry being a seer. She will always belong to someone, and that person will more than likely not be me. Since meeting her, I feel the need to protect her. Okay, sweetheart, let's get some sleep. We've got another busy day tomorrow. After that, we both drifted asleep. We woke up once again to knock on the door, and Mary comes in with a tray full of food. We sit and eat, and then go out to the planting room. We do our morning rounds, and lunchtime comes quickly. Mary pops her head in with a tray of food once again, and she whispers to me, I can get us out tomorrow. I nod my head to her and say, I have a feeling we need to leave tonight. Something feels off. Please stay close. She looks at me weirdly, then says, I believe you may be right, but I don't think I can get us out that quick. Then she rushes back out the door. Later that evening, just before 6 p.m., precisely as Mary is dropping off our dinner, 3 rogue men stagger in. Me and Perry are sitting by the potato planter, ensuring it has enough food. When we hear the men, we stand up from being startled by them. Mary rushes out of the bunker and comes to stand in front of us. She looks back at me and whispers, These rogue men are dangerous. They all sneer at us, and the one in front keeps his eye on me, closing the door behind them tightly. Girl, come here. You are to satisfy me tonight. The one to the left looks at Mary and says to her, Come now, Mary, I need you to sit on me, flashing an evil smile. Then the one to the right says to Perry, Fresh meat is exactly what I want, unbroken and so sweet to taste, licking his lips and grinning. They all slowly move toward us. We look around the room, seeing if there's anything that we can use to defend ourselves, but see nothing. No one will be able to hear us in here, since it is a sealed room. Slowly, we move back towards the bunker. Just as we get to the door, I feel pain ripple through my body. It's like someone is tearing me apart from the inside. I know today is my 21st birthday, but I didn't realize my wish would finally come true. Getting a wolf has always been my dream. I never thought I would, but this seems too early in the day. The pain is so excruciating, I kneel on the floor and clutch my chest with my hands, trying to get rid of the pain. Perry gets down next to me, shaking my arm in terror. Callie, are you okay? She cries. Mary looks back at us both, seeing me in so much pain. She bends towards me. Callie, what's going on? She stresses. I clench my teeth together, forcing the words out. I'm not sure, but it hurts everywhere. I scream and writhe around in pain, my body moving at all angles, constant ripples and shocks running through my body. Lying on my back, I look up at the ceiling while clawing at my chest and scream once again. It feels like an out-of-body experience is happening. I imagine myself looking down at myself from the ceiling, my eyes opening wide, and the vivid green of them starts glowing around the room. Kia's POV. Sitting in my office, I'm overlooking the financial paperwork for the pack when I let out a frustrated sigh. I haven't heard anything yet from my beta rigs regarding the females with the Rogue King. The older girl has something about her. I can't put my finger on it. She just called to me in a way I've never felt before. I don't know whether she could be my mate. but I've been sitting here for the past 2 days trying to figure out who she is, and there's no information on her whatsoever. Hearing a knock at the door, I tell them to come in. My beta, Riggs, walks in with a smile on his face. He sits in the chair in front of my desk and says, "Alpha, it seems that a girl in the Rogue King's pack is trying to help the 2 girls who we saw." "What do you mean, a girl? Why would she help them?" I question. "I'm not exactly sure, Alpha, but the girl also seems to want to escape. From what I've heard, she does seem trustworthy, but she's been there for a long time." I sit quietly for a moment thinking over what he said. "Do you know the girl's name or what she looks like?" "No, Alpha, all I know is that our man said he's quite close to this girl and that she's been the king's slave for a long time," he mumbles. I wonder, "Do you think it could be—" He shakes his head. "No, Alpha, I don't. There's no chance. Not after that war. Everybody was killed that day, even though we found no trace. A lot of them were burned alive," he states. "Yes, you don't need to remind me," I growl. "Contact our man and see if you can get a photo of the girl, or even her name. It may give us some clues as to what she wants other than just escaping." Riggs nods his head, gets up and leaves. I sit there contemplating who she could be. There are so many unanswered questions in my life, and now I've got 2 questions to all of those. Who was the girl on that day? And who is this new girl? Just after lunchtime, I head to the training grounds to do our daily session with the pack. Walking onto the field, I see that they are all lined up on one side of the field. I make my way over to them. "Today you will be learning new defense techniques. You will need to pair up. I would like you to pair up with someone who's at the opposite end of your strength weak, with strong with weak. Go ahead," I say, raising my voice so everyone can hear. All of the pack nod their heads and begin pairing up, taking up positions around the field in small circles already outlined. I show them how to defend against somebody who is trying to attack them with their fist. They take a step forward, grab around the wrist, and lift, then pull. This way, the person on attack flips over onto their back. They do as instructed, and after a while, they start to get it. Just as I am about to help one of the pairs with their positioning, Riggs jogs up to me. "Alpha, I have important news." He looks at me intently, indicating it is very serious. I tell the pack to go around doing their work, and then I follow him to the side of the field where no one will be able to hear us. We stop by a large tree, keeping our voices low so we know nobody can hear. "Alpha, here's the photo of the girl." He hands me the photo. I look at it, and then instantly look at him, shocked at what I see. "It can't be. It's been 11 years. How is this possible?" He lets her frustrated sigh. "I'm not sure." He looks doubtful. "We need to get her out of there quickly. Send some men immediately. Get the king to hand her over, otherwise we will go to war." I growl. Riggs does a quick nod, then jogs away, stroking the photo in my hand. I can't imagine how she survived so long. Once she is back, I will never let her out of my sight again. My poor baby sister. We all thought she was dead. She's lost a lot of weight, her hair is cut short, and from her complexion, she doesn't go out very often. Even though this photo is only a side picture, that's all I need to confirm that my sister is alive and helping the woman that I want to escape. I put the picture into my back pocket and go back to training, trying to forget the fact that she's been alive all this time, maybe even suffered trauma while all I've done is forget her. I looked for 2 years for her with no signs, and all along, she was right under my nose. We finish training, and I head to my house to freshen myself up. After my shower, I go down to the kitchen to make a cup of coffee, and just as I am about to take a sip, Riggs barges in with my beta Luca. "Alpha, we've got the men ready, and are just about to head out. Don't go just yet. We need to wait until dusk. We don't need the Rogue King seeing how many men we are sending. As you know, he has that place surrounded with spies all over," I state. He thinks for a minute, then replies, "Yes, sir, we will head out later then." My beta Luca speaks up. "Alpha, may I see the photo?" I hand over the photo to him, wondering why he wants to see it. He takes it gently from me, looking at it. His eyes show various sets of emotions, but the one which sticks is a gentle smile. I hear him whisper out, "My girl." Then he shakes his head, hands the photo back to me, and leaves in a rush. I look at Riggs with questioning eyes. He shrugs his shoulders at me and then also leaves. Later that night, I join my men on the journey to the Rogue King's Pack. Rogue King's Pack. It's around 7 p.m. We get there and park a few miles away from the entrance, but still have a good sight of it. Just as we're exiting the vehicles, we hear screams and shouting, then a howl that shakes the earth we're standing on. We all look in the direction it came from. Riggs looks over to me confused. What the hell was that? He sees that I shake my head unsure. I look across to the entrance, squinting my eyes. I draw back, then open and close my eyes several times, not believing what I'm seeing. Then it disappears through the trees. It seemed to be holding two things, but I couldn't see what they were. Cora's POV. Tears form in my eyes from the excruciating pain. Between the ripples of shock and the burning in my chest, I can't keep still. The 3 rogue men who came in stand exactly where they were, not moving an inch, just watching me with frightened eyes. All of the lights in the room burst. The only light now comes from the 3 tiny windows, and the vivid green of my eyes cascades around the room, like a bright light. Huge claws take place where my nails existed, extending them until they stop about 3 inches long, fur sprouts on my arms black at the root and gold to the end. My bones begin to snap, and the cracking sounds like it's from a car crash. I look towards Mary and Perry. Mary is holding Perry's shoulders, slowly moving her away from me. Perry shouts to me, "Collie! Collie! Please shift, it will hurt less." I hear a voice in the back of my head saying, "I am here. Listen to the girl and imagine me." Then the picture pops into my head of a great animal, standing on 2 legs, tall and ferocious. Slowly, with the image in my mind, the transformation comes quicker and easier. My screams dial down moans, and my body changes finally into the animal I am meant to be. When I look around the room, I see Perry look at me with shocked eyes. Mary is clutching her tightly, trying to push her behind her body. I look at the 3 men gradually start taking steps backward away from me. I snarl at them. The loudness of it makes me realize that I am no longer in my human form. I take a look down at my body. I'm standing on 2 feet with a long body. Wait. Shouldn't I be a wolf? Not a lichen? How can this be? My father is a wolf. How am I not? I'll have to figure it out later. Not taking a second longer to think about it, I run at the men, throwing the one in front to the side, my claws slashing through his flesh like a knife to butter. He slams into the wall. I see one of my claws dug into his neck, making blood splatter all across the room. Gripping the second man around the throat, bring his face to mine. He whimpers from the pressure. I growl at him, my eyes becoming bright at the sound. Using my other hand, I grab his waist, pulling him from each end with strength I didn't know I had. His screams turning to gargles, drowning from the blood spewing up his throat and out of his mouth. His body tears into 2, flesh ripping into pieces, his guts spilling out onto the last man in front of me, blood gushing in his face. Once the man is in 2 pieces, I drop him to the ground like a rag doll. His blood goes everywhere. I look towards the last man. He takes steps away from me, then he shouts, "Please! No! I didn't mean any harm to the girl. Let me go, please." He keeps begging for mercy as I slowly prowl towards him, my snarling getting louder by the second. The room building up luminance as if the sun is inside of it. I hear Perry behind me whimpering from the torment that is happening, but I have to get us out of here. The only thought in my mind is that these men are in the way to our freedom. I come face to face with the man and say, "Do you have any last words now, rogue?" Snapping my jaw together. Please, I have a family." He wails. I see a puddle develop beneath his feet and discover that this disgusting man has pissed himself. The stench of the urine makes me turn my nose away. Not wanting to get that foul odor on my body, I spin around quickly and kick him straight in the chest, my foot cracking his ribs and sending him hurling into the metal door. His body becomes dented into it. Bones instantly broke from the hit. He looks at me with wide eyes, blood pouring out from the back of his head where it's been crushed into the door. Slowly his eyes close, death at his door. I turn around to Perry and Mary and say, "Follow me, we must go now," in a deep, gravelly voice. Then I pull the door off its hinges. It drops to the floor with a loud clang, the man still stuck inside. We make our way out of the room. Sniffing the air, I try to find the scent of the trees from up above. Mary comes up behind me hesitantly and taps my fur. I turn around so quickly that she jumps away fearfully. We must go this way. She points to the right. I tilt my head towards her, indicating I will follow and guard. She pulls Perry by the hand down a corridor, up some stairs which lead to a trapdoor. Before she opens it, I growl slightly, indicating for her to wait. I step in front of them, wave my hand behind me for them to take a few steps back, then pushing the door with my paws, flinging it away from its hinges, I climb through and find 5 men sitting around in the shack. One by one, they all gasp and yell, "Kill it!" Then they all surround me in a circle. I spin around in fast circles, stretching my arms out. I let my claws slice through the skin on their chests, leaving cuts inches deep. They all take a few steps back, grasping at their chests. I snatch 2 of the men by their shirts, bashing their heads together until they cave in, splattering blood across the room, their brains falling out and landing at my feet. One man comes out from behind me, trying to stick a knife into my back. Turning my body towards him, one of my paws squishes into one of the brains on the floor, muscles and blood squeezing between the fur of my toes. I bring his head to my jaw, ripping it off in one clean motion. His spine stays attached and sways beneath his head. I drop it instantly, hating the taste. The last 2 men I disfigure by biting off each of their limbs, leaving body parts scattered around the room. "Come up now, but cover your eyes," I growl. Then Perry and Mary appear. I kick the door down, which leads to the outside, then take my first steps on the grass in a few days. I indicate for Perry and Mary to come closer. I pick them up howling loudly, and all I hear behind me are screams of pain. Then I run as fast as I can away from this horrible place. Cora's POV. I run in one direction until I can no longer hear shouts and screams behind me, clutching Perry and Mary to my chest. I stop by a big oak tree in the dark part of the forest. I let them down to the ground gently. Looking at both of them, I growl out, "Are you okay?" Perry and Mary give each other a look, but I can't decipher what it means. Then Perry turns to me and says, "Cora, can you turn back, please?" I'm unsure what she means, so I tilt my head to the side. "You need to imagine your human body and you will shift," she says. I blink at her, then closing my eyes, I start thinking of my black hair, emerald green eyes, and my body. A couple of minutes later, I'm back to my normal self, surprisingly with my clothes still on. Mary keeps looking at me strangely, standing a few feet away. "What was that animal?" she asked. I let out a big sigh and looked down at the ground, shuffling some dirt between my feet. "It's a lichen, although I don't understand how I am one. My father is a wolf, but I never got to meet my mother, so it could be her side. Maybe?" I say, trying to figure it out. Perry chirps up, "Wow, you could have told me." I smile at her reaction. "I didn't know, Perry. That was my first transformation." She looks at me with confusion all over her face. "But you are 21. I don't get it. You should have transformed when you were 18. Even with lichens, it's the same," she says, frowning. I'm not exactly sure myself. I need to speak to my father about it when I see him," I reply. "Wait, I'm confused. I thought your names were Callie and Sari, but you just called her Cora. You told the Rogue King you were 22. Mary questions. "We had to hide who we are. We didn't need the Rogue King knowing the truth. He was looking for a girl exactly like me and the exact same age, and Perry here isn't a wolf or human. She's a seer. We knew if we got captured we would have to do a lot of lying and pretending to protect ourselves. Smart girls." She says, "I did the same. My name isn't Mary. My name is Neela." She turns to Perry and says, "If you're a seer, how did you not see that, Cora? Was a lichen?" She asks Perry. "I may be a seer, but until I come of age at 15, my sight doesn't work that great. I can only see small things until I turn 15. But then when I find my master or my mate, I'm not sure which, that is where my gifts will be truly magical. But no, I didn't see her as a lichen. I can't see any of her future for some reason, but I can for others." She looks quizzically at Perry and then says, "What do you see for me?" Perry walks over to her and grabs her hand, then closes her eyes. She whispers, "Your mate is someone you know, but you haven't met him in a long time. Your life will have lots of problems in the future, so you must stay true to your heart. If you don't die, we'll come for a loved one." Perry drops her hand and walks back to my side. "Can we go now? I want to head to our home." She smiles sweetly. I look over to Neela. "Are you coming with us, or are you going back to your home?" I ask, looking around the surrounding trees and bushes. I'll join you for a while. We should go this way, though, she points to her right. We nod our heads, trusting her this far so a little further won't hurt, and let her lead the way. We walk for miles and miles, and finally we come across a river. We each have a small drink and then think of how to cross it. It's quite wide and has fast-flowing rapids. If we are able to cross without the current taking out our feet, then we will be free. It seems to only come up to our knees, so we make our way forward. I jab at the river floor a few times with a large stick, finding the highest point for us to walk across. When we get 3/4 of the way through it, I hear shouts from the forest behind us. Neela whispers at us, "Dunk yourselves under quickly and then get into the trees. They won't smell us then." We do as instructed and walk a few feet into the forest ahead of us, hiding behind the big trees, dripping wet. I hear the footsteps getting louder and louder. Then we see that Brody, Carl, and the Rogue King are all walking through the forest toward the river. Brody walks right up to the river and smells deep. "The scent ends here, sir." The Rogue King looks across the river into the trees we're standing in. I peek between some thick bushes, keeping my eyes on them at all times. The Rogue King says that is Alpha Kia's land. They have a death wish being in there. Then he takes his phone out of his pocket and makes a call. "Alpha, 3 of our girls are on your land. Please fetch them back to me," he demands. Then he cuts the call quickly. "Keep an ear out for any problems on Alpha Kia's land. If you hear anything at all, let me know. Now let's head back." They take one final look around, then disappear. I let out a deep breath once they are gone, nodding to Neela and Perry that it's safe to move. Forgetting our soaked bodies, we carry on walking through the forest, following behind Neela. Trying to walk through a forest while it's pitch black is not easy when your eyes are adjusting, but I manage it. Neela is able to see most things because she is a wolf, but little Perry has difficulty, so she clutches my hand and follows my steps. I whisper to Neela, knowing there could be prying ears, "We should set up camp for the night. It's not good for us to walk at this time." She juts her head at me and replies, "Let's find a more covered area, then we can sleep." We walk a bit further and come across some high bushes. Stepping through them, we find that it's an enclosed little area with a huge pile of leaves. "Here will do," I say. Both of them silently agree with me, and we all try to get comfy. I lie on the side of the leaf-piled ground and let Perry rest her head against my stomach. Neela chooses to lie on another side of her. "Get some rest, little Perry. We've got a long journey ahead of us." Stroking her hair, she closes her eyes, and we do the same, drifting into an uncomfortable sleep. Cora's POV. I wake up just as dawn is approaching. It's still quite dark in the forest, though. The sun tries to peek through the trees, cascading light over the leaves and then shadows on the ground. I move Perry's head more onto my lap and gently sit up, trying not to disturb her sleep. We must have slept for a good 6 hours. Looking over to Neela and seeing that she is looking up at the sky fully awake. I whisper to her, "Why are you awake so early?" "I couldn't sleep that much. It's hard to when you've been caged up for so long." Then she looks away from me. I try not to dwell on what she said. I ask, "When do you think we should head off?" "Soon. We should wake Perry now, though," she says, standing up and dusting off her legs. I look down at Perry in my lap, unhurriedly stroking her hair. "Perry, sweetheart, it's time to wake up." Her eyes flutter slightly, and she stretches her arms above her head and groans. "Can't we just go back to sleep?" she says, then rolls to her side and gets comfy again. I let out a small chuckle. "Sorry, but no, we need to get moving again." She makes a loud, annoyed groan while sitting up and rubbing her eyes. "Fine, let's go then," she grumbles. We both smile at her and then get up. We peek through the bushes and see it's clear. So we make our way out and once again follow Neela's directions. We walk for a few miles when Neela suddenly stops. "Hide," she says. Me and Perry dive behind a tree trunk together, and Neela goes behind another one just in front of us, looking around constantly. I put my finger to my lips, telling Perry to be quiet, then perk up my ears, listening carefully to the movements. The forest is deadly silent, no birds tweeting, no trees swaying in the wind, just silence. Then I hear gentle footsteps approaching from ahead. I count the steps 1, 2, 3. Closing my eyes, I breathe in deeply, letting my body feel what the earth feels. 3 men, but not rogues. Opening my eyes, I look at Neela. I mouth for her to shift, but she shakes her head at me, holding her palm out and telling me to wait. The steps are getting closer, then they stop a few feet away. A man's voice rings out, "We know you are there, so please come out, we won't hurt you." Not trusting what they say, I stay exactly where I am, but Neela decides to walk to them. "You wouldn't be able to hurt me anyway," I hear her say confidently. I look around the tree and see the men. Neela standing in front of them with her arms crossed at her chest. The man at the front has brown, spiky hair and is around 6 feet. I'm sure I've seen him before, but I can't remember where. The two men behind are half his size but look similar to him. The man in front blinks a few times. "Neela?" he whispers. She takes a step back. "Who's asking?" she says, starting to lose some of her confidence. He tilts his head to the side, furrowing his brows. "You don't remember me, do you?" he questions. She shakes her head slowly and takes another step back. "Wait, it's Riggs, your brother's Beta. We used to play together when you were young before you went missing," he says, desperation in his voice. I can't see Neela's face, but she doesn't move back again. "Where is my brother?" she asks. "I'll get him to come now for you." Then his eyes change to an orange color. "He'll be here in 10 minutes. She does a slight nod and then looks back at us. "Come out. I believe we are safe. You have others with you?" Riggs asks, looking past her at the tree we are behind. I stand up and grab Perry's hand, keeping her behind me. I walk towards Neela, but stay a few steps further back. Riggs looks at me, then behind me, and raises his eyebrows. "You were the girls from the corridor." We don't reply, just stand there waiting and looking at the ground. A few minutes later, I hear footsteps from my right. I look up, my eyes gliding through the trees to the person who approaches in wolf form. "Your brother is coming," I say. Neela and the men all look at me with questioning eyes. "How can you hear him when he's a few miles away?" he asks. I shrug my shoulder at him, and Neela just nods her head at me, understanding instantly. A few seconds later, a huge brown wolf appears behind the men. Riggs points to a tree on his left, and the wolf disappears for a second, then returns as the man who we met a few days ago. Not liking him, I instantly take steps backward. He wanted to buy me and Perry, so why should we trust him now? He'll be exactly like the Rogue King and treat us as slaves. He walks straight up to Neela and wraps his huge arms around her, burying his head in her neck. She grabs at his sides, her knuckles turning white from clenching so hard. Her body convulses from the pure emotions being let out. "I found you. You're finally home," he says, relief in his voice. "Kia, is it really you?" she hiccups. "Yes, it's me. You are safe now, Neela," he assures her, rubbing her back. He looks over at us and his eyes widen. We both take a step back. "Who do we have here?" he asks, looking back at Neela. She turns back to us. "This is Cora and Perry. If it wasn't for them, I'd have never gotten out," she states. He nods his head at her. "Well, girls, I must thank you for bringing my sister back to me." We just nod our heads at him. "How did you guys get out?" "We saw something huge come out last night from the underground and tried to track it but lost it." We all look between us, but say nothing. I cast my eyes to the ground. Neela instead says, "Can we go home, please?" looking at her brother with a smile. "Of course, and your friends can come too if they want." Looking at us, she waits for us to answer. "Only for one night, then we must go," I whisper. "All right, let's go home then," he says, putting his arm around Neela and walking away with the men. We follow behind at a slow speed. Cora's POV. Alpha Kia and his men lead us to his home. It takes most of the day as his lands are large and we're on foot, so we get back around 4 p.m. When we get closer to the houses, we see lots of people stopping and looking at us. Perry keeps her head down and I guide her through the streets. We come to a normal-looking stone house. It has big windows and a wooden door. Alpha Kia walks through it and waits for all of us to follow. Myself and Perry take the longest, standing outside unsure whether to go in. Neela pops her head out. "Come on, guys, you're safe," and then she disappears. I lead Perry through the door. We stay standing in the entryway. Alpha Kia watches me intently. "I promise I won't hurt you, girls," he smiles slightly, trying to ease the tension. "But you were there. How can we trust you?" Perry voices my thoughts. His eyes open wide and he quickly lit Neela and then back to us. "What does Perry mean you were there?" She questions. I interrupt before he can speak. The day we were brought into the camp, we saw your brother walking down with 2 men. He over there was one. I point to the beta. He said he wanted to buy us off the rogue king. My voice breaks at the last sentence. Kia, is what Cora said true? Alpha Kia looks torn, his face contorting. Ka! Answer me, Neela yells. Well, yes, kinda. It's hard to explain, he hesitates. I can say in all my life I have never seen a man squirm like this one is right now. If I wasn't scared, I would be laughing at him. I feel Perry's shoulders shake below me. I guess she had the same thought. Explain now, Neela demands. Riggs, who was standing next to Kia, suddenly speaks up. Neela was lovely to see you and all, but we'll be going now, Riggs says. Riggs, he stops right at the door. Don't think you're getting away, she states, glaring at him. Alpha Kia scrubs his face with both hands and glimpses at Riggs, who shrugs his shoulders and then says, Neela, me and you will talk in the office. Riggs can take the girls to the kitchen for some food, okay? Then he heads upstairs, not waiting for her. She looks at us, then takes off. We follow Riggs to the kitchen. It's all white cupboards and black countertops with a huge island in the middle. He sets about making some food, so we decide to sit on the island chairs. After 30 minutes, several broken things, and lots of swear words, he hands us a plate each. It's piled high with different foods. I won't be able to eat half of this. Just then, Neela and Kia walk back in. She hugs me from behind and whispers in my ear, I've had a word, and trust me, you are safe. Then she waltzes away to grab a plate of food. After a very silent breakfast, the Alpha shows us to his spare rooms, and we decide to share one since we've gotten used to it. He sends for some fresh clothes and lets us wash and change in peace. After we're done, we come back downstairs and join them all in the lounge. Beta is sitting in a lone chair, and Kia and Neela share the sofa, so me and Perry take the last chair. I sit her on my lap, hugging her close. So what's been going on here while I've been gone? Neela asks. Not a lot. We are now the strongest pack in our region, he says enthusiastically. Have you found your mate yet? She asks, his gaze cast towards me. No, but I'm still searching. Oh hey, where is Luca? She quizzes. I'll link him now, Riggs states. Neela, what happened that day? How did you end up with Nigel? Kia asks. She shakes her head. This is not the time or place for that conversation, brother. Frowning at her, he goes to speak when the front door blasts inwards and the words, Honey, I'm home, are sung. We all turn to the intrusion. The new male looks over at us, all then his eyes land on Neela. He stops dead in his tracks. When? How? He rushes towards her, grabs her off the sofa, and crushes her to his chest. Neela, oh Neela, you're okay, he exclaims. She cups his face in both hands. I am now. At those words, Kia stands up. Put my sister down, Luca. Now, he growls. They both look at him with trepidation in their eyes. No, I won't. She's my mate, he states. I look at Perry and then announce quietly that we are off to bed, not wanting to get in between them all. We escape the room and clamber into bed, drifting into sleep. I woke up from a bad dream. I check I haven't woken Perry, then climb out of bed and head toward the kitchen in search of some water. I tiptoe down the stairs and go to the kitchen. Grabbing a glass, I fill it and down half of it. I take a few deep breaths and calm myself. Are you okay? I jump from the voice behind me, sloshing water all over myself. Looking behind, I see it's Alpha Kia. Yes, just a bad dream. I say, while wiping the water from my skin, I heard you come down and wanted to check on you. I'm okay, thanks. He's standing at the side of the island, just watching me. I put the glass in the sink and start to leave. How about some milk instead? He says. I'm not a child, he laughs. I know, but it will settle you. You seem rather rattled. Sure. I sit on one of the chairs on the island, letting him sort the milk. Anything I can help with? He asks. No, I'm all good. Well, I'm here if you need me. I'm sure that's because you want me as your slave. No, Cora, you've got the wrong end of the stick, he says, holding the milk out to me. How is that? I question, grabbing the glass and taking a sip. This is quite good. The way I said it was to not let Brody onto what I wanted. If I had said anything else, I'm sure you would be dead. What did you want? Well, that's a hard question to answer without looking weird. He chuckles, stroking his neck with his hand. Try me. I goad him, my eyes watching him. Okay, well, when I started to walk past you, I had a feeling and not sure what it was, but I needed you near me. Does that make sense? He asks. I nod my head slowly. But I don't think you're my mate, as there isn't a major pull. I can't be your mate, I interrupt. Why? I let out a big sigh. This is going to be a long conversation that I don't want. Cora's POV. The turmoil inside my body is tiring. I want to tell Kia what he did, but he can't help me in any way, so there isn't any point. But I know he won't give up until I do tell him. I shake my head, not knowing how to say the words. Kia lets go of my arm and brushes my hair from my face, gently lifting my chin to look at him. His blue eyes showed so much concern for me, someone he hasn't known for very long. Cora, please tell me, he pleads. I nod my head to him, my mouth opening and closing a few times silently, trying to get the words out, but they just won't come. I take a deep breath and say all in one go. He got her pregnant. Then the dam bursts. I cry, tears, snot, and saliva all mixed into one. My back hits the wall and I slide down it, so I'm sitting on the floor. Kia's face contorts in anger, and he balls his fists at his sides. Between my sobs, I manage to get out. She can give him the thing that I can't. That's what hurts the most. It's why I can't see him again. I whimper. Cora, you have to reject him. He bends down and rubs my legs. Knowing he won't give up on this subject, I nod my head to him. He lets out a deep breath. Good, now tell me who he is so we can get him here for you to do it, he demands. No, I will leave here tomorrow to go see my father and do it after that. I wipe my nose on my sleeve while sniffling. He stays silent for a few seconds, thinking it over. Okay, how about you stay here for a few days? You don't need to go straight away, then I will get my men to take you to your father, he requests. Okay, but only for a few days for Perry's sake, I agree. I will get my pack doctor to do a full workup on you and Perry tomorrow, to check you are both okay, the concern showing in his voice. I only nod my head. I stand up and turn away, ready to go back to bed. It must be around 2 a.m. now, which means I won't get much sleep, but I can try. Before I leave the room, I turn back to Kia and whisper, It seems my first impression of you was wrong, so I'm sorry. And thank you, Kia. Then I leave the room, heading back to the bed I'm sharing with Perry. I drift into a restless sleep. My mind constantly mulls over all that's happened. Kia's POV. After Cora leaves the room, I grab my phone out of my pocket, sending a text to Riggs. While I wait for his response, I clean up the glasses. I walk through the back door onto the porch. Sitting on one of the chairs, I wait. The moon shines brightly tonight, the trees swaying gently in the breeze. It makes me want to go for a run so badly, but right now I can't. I've got bigger things to worry about than my wolf. I hear footsteps coming from the right, instantly glancing that way and seeing Riggs. You can tell he just got out of bed as he's still in his t-shirt and flannel pants. He makes his way up the steps toward me. Wait, what are those? Grabbing a seat, he waits for me to talk, but I can't. The smile on my face eases the tension in my body. Boss, Riggs says, confused. I burst out laughing, trying and failing to be quiet at this ungodly hour. What on God's green earth are those? I choke out. What is what? He questions, looking around absently. Unable to control myself, I grab one of the most offending male things I've ever seen on a man's body from him, dangling it in the air. Hey, give it back, he says like a child. I hold it away from him, my laughter increasing at his words. What even are these? Boss, you can give me shit about anything but not these, he growls. I laugh even harder. A stitch starts developing in my stomach from it, so I drop the offending item. Riggs quickly snaps it up and puts it back on. I slow my laughter down and ask again, What are those? They are my fuzzies. Leave them alone, he pouts. Nope, I've got to know who, what, and why. He grumbles out. My sister, my birthday, a tradition. And that's when he stops talking, looking down at his feet, wiggling his toes so the bunny ears flop around. I snicker at him. Boss, I didn't come here to be picked on, so what do you want? Realizing I'm wasting important time, I stop my antics and get serious. Cora, that's why you're here. Oh, she broke your heart yet, he says sarcastically. Well, yes, kind of, but that's not the point. Wait, what? How has she done that? Never mind. I need you to find out who her mate is so I can fetch him here for her to reject him. Wait, she's mated? I didn't see that coming, he says absently. Why isn't she with him now then? He asks. I tell him everything Cora told me just now, and his expression changes as I go through the story. But you need to keep it quiet, I warn. He stays silent for a moment, his eyes moving back and forth. He must have an idea, so I wait for him to speak. Kia? I think I know who it is. My gaze sharpens on him. Who? I say. You're not going to like it, but I think it's Alpha Drake. How could it be him? I ask. Remember the Alpha meet last year? I nod to him. Well, he was the only one who didn't have a Luna in our region. He said he hadn't found his mate, though. I interrupt. Yes, well, he's always been good at lying, he states. I think for a minute about it. He could have easily hidden it since his pack is small and he never has other alphas visit. Always goes to them instead. Alone. There could be a chance that he may be her mate. Invite him here ASAP. Say I have a business proposition for him. Also, contact the doctor and tell him we need to see him tomorrow. Yes, Alpha. With that, Riggs leaves his fluffy bunny slippers going with him. I head to bed myself, tired from the night's events.